Today, Cabinet met to discuss alert level settings in Auckland and Northland. Last week, Cabinet made an in-principle decision to ease restrictions in Auckland to what has been termed Alert Level 3, that's Step 2. And today, Cabinet, on the advice of the Director-General of Health, has confirmed that decision to ease into that new set of settings at 11:50 p.m. tomorrow night. This will bring Auckland and the Waikato into alignment. At Step 2, retail businesses and malls open. However, just to be clear, event facilities like movie theatres and gyms will remain closed for now. Face coverings, record keeping and physical distancing, of course, are required. The numbers at outdoor gatherings increase from 10 to 25 people, and the 2 household restriction is removed. This means groups of family, friends and neighbours can get together for barbecues and gatherings while still keeping these outdoors. It also means outdoor classes like yoga and CrossFit can increase to 25 as well. Public facilities like libraries, museums and zoos can reopen at this step, of course with face coverings, record keeping and physical distancing required in the same way as for retail. The reasons for this decision today capture the transition phase we are in as we continue to minimise the impact of COVID-19 and work to protect people from it. As you can see, we have increasingly high vaccination rates in Auckland, and that is a substantial part of our consideration now. Auckland hit 90% first dose and 80% second dose over the weekend, and is now a matter of weeks away from 90% double dose. And so while we're getting those rates higher still, we are easing into our reopening. The restrictions we've eased to date, we've done so because we know they are the safest ones. For example, evidence shows picnics outside have not led to an uptick in cases. And from barbecues, we have evidence of just 1 case. Indoor gatherings, which are not permitted now, nor when we move to Step 2, continue to be a major driver of spread. So keeping it outdoors reduces the risk and helps keep cases under control. We've also not seen significant cases in workplaces at the last set of restriction changes that we made, so opening retail with the appropriate public health measures in place should also be low risk. In making this decision, we have also considered the ongoing mental and emotional strain of lockdown on Aucklanders and the impact on businesses. We do hope that this easing will relieve some of the pressure, and I again thank Aucklanders for the work that you're doing to keep the rest of the country safe. Cabinet will next make alert level decisions on Monday the 15th of November when the Waikato is due to be considered. But today I can also tell you that based on current projections, Auckland is on track to make 90% double vaccinated this month. Cabinet has a check-in on November the 29th, and based on Cabinet's discussion today, there is a strong expectation that Auckland will move into the COVID-19 protection framework following this November 29 check-in. This is based on all 3 DHBs having reached 90% first doses already, and the 29th of November representing 21 days or 3 weeks following the first dose milestone, allowing time for that 90% to be fully vaccinated. Moving to the new framework at that time will mean certainty for Auckland. It will mean all businesses can be open and operate. It means we will manage cases as safely as possible, but differently. Our projections have already shown us that cases will grow, but this is not the only consideration. We now also look to hospitalisations and ICU as a key consideration for the safety of New Zealanders. And those rates are within expectation, with ICU use being lower at this point. In this lockdown, though, Delta has tested us like never before, but we are very close to getting back to doing the things we love, like seeing friends or family, or taking the kids to the movies. Finally, on Northland, Dr. Bloomfield has recommended to Cabinet today that the far north of Northland move back to Level 2. Cabinet has agreed, and this can occur on 11:59 p.m. Thursday, the 11th of November. We've seen very high testing rates in the far north, tripling in the last 7 days, and 10 to 15% of the population has been tested. We do have additional cases today, but the view and advice of the Director-General is that these could be managed through ongoing contact tracing and testing. Cabinet made the decision of a few days extension of alert level to give additional time for this to occur. And one last message before I finish with a quick update on boosters. 6 DHBs have now hit 90% the first dose mask. That's Auckland, Waitemata, Counties Manukau, Capital and Coast, Canterbury and Southern. Nationally, there are only 33,316 doses required across the remaining 14 DHBs to get them all up to 90%. We have the capacity and vaccines to do all of those tomorrow. 2021 has been a long year, but we are now in a sprint to make summer the break it can and needs to be. So I encourage again anyone across those DHBs who have not had their first dose to support their local communities by doing so. We'll finish on an announcement on boosters. MedSafe has today approved a booster dose of the Pfizer vaccine, and this has been gazetted as at 3:30 p.m. today. The approval is for administration of the booster for people aged 18 and older and at least 6 months following the second dose. MedSafe's approval is the first step in the process. You'll remember that the next step is for the COVID-19 Technical Advisory Group and the Ministry of Health to provide advice to ministers to inform the use of booster doses, including the age limits and the interval between the second dose and a booster dose. We understand the health and border workforce are particularly concerned about whether or not they'll need a booster dose, and so we're obviously working towards a plan to provide that reassurance as soon as possible. Rest assured, though, we have the doses and the vaccinators to roll out as soon as our experts give us their final advice, which we don't believe will be too far away.